So I was off on another League of Ireland ground hop, this time to the Midlands to see Athlone Town from the county Westmeath, the Lake County, and into the heart of Ireland. Athlone is a small town of about 21,000 people, sitting proud on the great majestic River Shannon, the longest river in Ireland, nicely splitting the town into two. The town is steeped in history from its founder Luan, where it gets its name, Athlone. You can see Irish chieftain Turlough More O'Connor, who fortified the town, and history goes right up to the Normans with their castles. It's easy to get to Athlone. It's an hour from Dublin by car and about an hour and a half via train or bus. The town itself is small enough and well easy to walk around on foot, and you can get to see most of the sights within the day, or in my case visit a good few of the boozers in a couple of hours. Athlone has two things that make it stand out from other Midlands towns. It has the river, Shannon as we said, and also has a regional third level college, the Athlone Institute of Technology. So the Shannon brings the tourists while the college brings the students, so it's always bustling with activity, the town. Well known people who are from the town of Athlone include Going for Gold host Henry Kelly, international renowned tenor John McCormack, country singer Brendan Shine, Irish politician Mammy O'Rourke, and two well-known YouTubers, Jack Septic Guy, who is Septic, and Stefan Molyneux, who is anything but. In terms of the pubs, well, there could only be one bar that I could start a day of fun in, and that would have to be Sean's Bar, just around the corner from Athlone Castle, on the banks of the River Shannon. It's the oldest pub on the island of Ireland, and also even in the whole wide world, with a history dating back to 900 AD. Yes, you heard that correctly, 900 AD. But this isn't just an Irish tale. The Guinness World Records books have confirmed this amazing fact to be true. No fake news here. So I was lucky enough to get chatting to Timmy O'Donovan, who works in Sean's Bar, and who was kind enough to sit down with me for a small talk about the history behind the pub. I have a separate video done on this, and if you click on the link provided, you can listen to Timmy share his vast knowledge of the olden times and the fascinating history behind Sean's Bar. The bar itself looks very quaint from the outside. It looks a bit small, but once inside you can wander around and see that it is quite big actually. It has a lot of history with many ancient artifacts on display, and the front bar is a nice and cosy place for a quiet pint. When I was there early in the day, there were a good few tourists in the bar, but also a nice mix of locals too. A good atmosphere was building and the pints were flowing. They do have a good selection of beers on tap, and I tried their own stout and the red ale. Both were particularly good, especially the stout, which was excellent. I also had a wee drop of their whiskey. Now, not that I'm a whiskey drinker, and yes, I know I'm an Irishman, that's a mortal sin, but it tasted okay to me. It seemed to be smooth enough. I sat at the bar and took in all the atmosphere and the mystique of the place. I loved Sean's Bar, and I would have been quite happy to have stayed here all day, but alas, I had to continue on my trip around the town. Ancient Irish history in the settings of a cosy, relaxed bar, drinking great pints. If only history class in school was as interesting as this. It's a great bar, and even if it had none of the history, it still would be a top spot. Recommended, and I will be back. Other bars I visited for the day included Nuts Corner and the Bottleneck Bar, both on Mardyke Street, Series Bar on Barrack Street, and Walsh's Pub and Grocery on Connacht Street. All decent enough pubs. But I was very impressed with another Sean Oakes Bar on Sean Costello Street. After a quick detour via Supermax, and I love the old Supermax, I dropped into this small bar for another quick pint. Sean Oakes is divided into two sections, and I went past all the regulars giving me the eye to the quieter section at the back. Ordered a pint of Smithwick's, my usual, and got chatting to the barman, who was great crack, very good sense of humour, and we both gave each other a good bit of ribbing. Pint was fine, the atmosphere in the bar was great, and I enjoyed this bar very much. As for the game itself, and the reason I was in Athlone, to see Athlone and their local rivals Longford play. Now, I found to the ground itself by foot is a little tricky, as it is a bit of a trek from the town centre, especially when you're half pissed like myself, but luckily enough I managed to hitch a lift for the Longford Town fan. Bought a ticket at the entrance for €10, which I think is very reasonable. For the first half I sat with the Longford Town fans down in the corner, and at half time I had to wander around, grab some refreshments from a catering van with some very friendly staff, got a nice burger and some hot tea for myself, and I also got some coffee for the two stewards, or ball boys, or ball men more like, I'd noticed standing in the cold in a row behind the goals, and one across from the main stand. I kind of felt sorry for them, so I wandered over to them and had a good chat as was, and was well surprised that they'd do this for the pure love of the game. But it seems to me they don't get much thanks for their hard work, not even a cup of hot tea, which is a bit shameful from Athlone Town. So, you should always look after your volunteers. As for the game itself, it was an okay game of football. Both teams had their chances. Longford's wingers were really doing well, bombing it both left and right, and causing a lot of problems for the Athlone defence. And sure enough, this is the route where Longford got the only goal of the game, from the right, a cross that everyone missed except Sam Verdon, who walked it in at the far post. Overall, not a bad game really, played in front of a decent crowd with a lively set of fans from each team. So overall, I had a good day out in Athlone. The town is great to walk around, lots to do and see, a lot of history and show. The town is blessed to have so many good boozers too, and it was great to finally take off Sean's Bar on my long list of places to see and do. It was also good to see a local derby between Athlone and Longford. It's not quite Barcelona or Madrid or Celtic Rangers, but for the locals here it's important to have the bragging rights over the ones up the road. We'll be back in this town again for another day out for sure in the near future. Top class stuff. The lads in Sean's Bar pointed me in the direction of SuperValu up the town. At least I think it was in that direction. They told me there I would find a certain John Cron, a long-time fan of Ireland's oldest team, and it would be a well of information in all things Athlone Town. So I went up and I met the man, and although he was a bit busy and his sister was eager to drag him off somewhere, sure enough John was only too happy to have a short chat about the fortunes of the club. So here we go. So with John here.
Hello, how you doing? My name is John Cron, and I've been involved with Athlone Town probably close to 40 years, more even.
Okay, so that was the first question. How long have you been supporting Athlone Town? Okay, so why Athlone? Because I guess you're born and bred in Athlone, and it's a natural progression, is it?
Yeah, I was born and bred in Athlone, but my father was a big supporter and brought us and my brothers when we were all young, and just you got into the habit, and that just became the norm every second Sunday. When I was going to Athlone matches at the start, they were only in a junior club, and then they went into the B division, what it was called then, of League of Ireland, and then progressed into the first division, or Premier League as it's known now.
Yeah.
But that was all. That's how it developed.
Yeah. Is it hard to get the people out from the town out to support the club, is it?
Yeah, because everyone wants success, whether it's rugby, Gaelic, hurling, whatever club you're involved in, and soccer the same. And if you're doing well, everybody wants to be involved. When you're not doing well, everyone wants to keep their head down and keep away from it. And that's just the situation.
So, in the good days then, I suppose, what would you say would be Athlone's attendance? Like, would they get a good crowd for it?
I'd say they were getting 1,200-1,500 people, probably even and up on that. They were getting up on that, probably 2,500. But it's dwindled off. Interest goes. If you're not getting success, people lose interest.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep it motivated.
Is it much of a walk from the town
to the pitch?
To the ground, yeah.
15-20 minutes.
Okay, so it's just really no excuse then.
It's not the distance the pitch is out, and there's fantastic facilities for parking, etc., around that. And I want to say there was a sort of a local minibus running out. I don't know if that's still going or not. No, the location of it is.
And so all those years that you've been following, and what have been the highlights? AC Milan, of course.
Of course, yeah. Well, that was.
You're going to say you were at that game, yeah?
I was.
Oh, of course you were. Of course you were.
I was in the college, and I took the half day off. Lash and rain. I was. Yeah. And all my friends at my age, we were all there.
Dare I ask how old you were?
Even then, I'd say I was 19 or 20.
Oh, it must have been great excitement.
It was unbelievable. It was fantastic. Something you'll never see again. Athlone had played a few. European teams, and of course it was the cream on the cake.
How many people were at the ground that day?
Well, it was literally absolutely jammed. I don't know what the figure is, but I'd say it had to be between 4,500 and 5,000 because it wasn't the ground. There was nowhere, just squeezed them in. It was seriously jammed, and it was to make it work. It was a wet, very wet day. but all you could see was people.
It must have been amazing.
It was
Absolutely
unbelievable.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a few photographs of doing the circle for years. The one with the
Getting off on the bus
yeah,
or
Trapattoni, that one, yeah.
Cult heroes of the club then for you, like
For me, of course, well, John Minnock, first of all. I know he missed the penalty against, but he was. I grew up with John Minnock, and when I was into college, John Minnock was working out there. But there was loads of them there. I tried to say Carl Humphreys would have been absolutely, so Eugene Davis. There was so many. Tom Conway, Larry Wise. There was plenty. Of course, you'd have to go into the O'Connors, Porrick, who I met in here only a few weeks ago, and he's still looking absolutely fantastic. A cult hero.
So you're like, you guys were used to playing AC Milan, but did you ever think of the rivalry with Longford Town? Like, is that?
Yeah, sure, that goes on. But I'd be very happy. Like, I was involved on the committee with Athlone for years, and I know all the lads with Longford.
Yeah.
There'd be rivalry, all right.
But you haven't beaten them in a while. Like, it's a few seasons, I think.
Yeah, but look, it's local rivalry. Those games, the game you don't think you'll beat them in is the game you'll beat them in, and so on. Yeah. But I get on well with the lads in Longford. Never had an issue.
Yeah, but the last 2 seasons were pretty tough for Athlone. Like, you got 6 points.
Well, it was crazy though. They lost the focus on what they were at, and at the end of the day, you're a football club. Okay, great developing the youth. Of course, that is fantastic, and I'd be a big supporter of developing youth football and bringing young players through. But it is a football club,
yeah,
and you have to remember that.
So what's different this year? Like, you've already got more points than you got last year.
They seem to have set a budget aside for a team of a certain calibre.
Yeah, and there's not as many Chinese in the dugout, is there?
No, there's not as many Chinese or Croatians or any other thing.
I mean, I don't know how. Do you follow the present team?
I always.
Is there any players that anybody's coming from outside we should look out for tonight in the derby?
There's a couple of young players there. They'd be worth looking at. There's a sort of a mix between mature players and young players, and it's a matter. Aaron Briley is a good player. There's a few more there that are just that need to be looked at.
Okay.
And I think maybe they need this season and doing well to peak.
Yeah. Well, it's already a progression from last 2 seasons.
Oh yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
So first time at a El Clasico derby, Midlands derby. Is what should I expect from atmosphere wise tonight, or getting to the ground? Will there be any argy bargy?
No, I don't think that. I don't think that goes on. There might be a bit of.
Oh, well, I'm here tonight now, so maybe.
Yeah. No, there might be a bit of slagging between the sets of supporters, but nothing more than that.
Okay.
It's good humoured. Bit of fun, yeah.
Well, John, thanks very much for your time. John has to get back to work now.
Yeah, I've got back to work.
Thanks,
Thank you. You're welcome.